Hey, what is up guys, welcome back to the channel and welcome back to Gran Turismo 7. So I logged in GT7 this morning and completely missed the banner that mentioned the brand new special events. Now, as per usual, we get these usually in line with the World Series. We did last year, I think we had Spa, which was sort of a mixed weather conditions for Group 3. And I can't remember, I think the other one was something like Big Willow with the Suzuki Escudo, which was just absolutely insane. So I'm here today to check out the new events themselves. So you'll find this obviously in the World Series banner. It'll give you a time limit that's left to do them, so 22 days at the time of logging on. This is on the Saturday. The video will probably go up on the Sunday. So as you can see, as usual, two events. So we've got manufacturers and nations. Quick look at the manufacturers. This is for Group 3 vehicles. A single lap of the Nürburgring 24-hour layout with 13 cars. A rolling start. As you can see, all tyre types are open. You're going to be on a set amount of vehicles, so you'll have to pick from one of the Nations Cup vehicles, and you will require your National A license. As you can see here, we've got BOP and tuning off, event specified cars and such. So here's the car list itself for the Group 3s. As you can see, all of the World Series ones here in their special liveries. We also have the Nations Cup as well, with a bit more of a payout. So 190k for this one, 150 for that previous one. 5 laps for this one around Spa, 13 cars once again, and again a rolling start with all tyre compounds open. And there's your payouts. You're going to get them all, obviously, if you get the gold medal. So you'll receive the silver and bronze alongside it. This is the make one for the Red Bull X2019 Competition. Okay, so first things first, I'm going to check out the weather radar, just see what the overall weather's doing. Obviously, both of these circuits are rain eligible, I guess, in a way, so we could have a downfall. However, we haven't got any rain on the way, so we're just going to go with the racing soft just to get the most out of it. Now, I believe that tyre weight and fuel is completely off for both of these races. You'll probably see the Spa one that I actually did first. I didn't really realise that or properly look into it, and ended up using the mediums, which overall gave me a much slower time. However, we're just going to start making our way through the pack once again. Obviously, it's not a fully stacked grid, only 13 cars on track, including ourselves, so 12 AI opponents to work our way through and past. So we're going to obviously move past the Genesis quite early on in the lap, and then again, while we're still on the GP layout, we're going to work our way past the Renault and the McLaren to take us up towards P10. Now, what I really do like about the special event itself actually was the whole sort of night to day that's going on here, and it kind of unfolds across the entire lap. And in fact, this is really where the main downfall of these special events come in, mainly for the Nürburgring Nordschleife one, is the fact that it just doesn't seem long enough. I would have loved a stacked grid and maybe done a special event that was worth a bit more money, that really kind of incorporated like the likes of weather, night and day, so we kind of got the full 24-hour vibe just stretched out a little bit, because that's really what it feels like, is the sort of Nordschleife 24-hour race that obviously goes on. So I really did like the vibe here. It really felt like there was a lot of personality, a lot going on around the track, making my way through the Nordschleife itself. It was just absolutely incredible, and I just wish there was just more of it. And again, this is when GT7 in terms of the events and such is at its absolute best. Some of the things this game can pull off with its day-night cycle and all the weather and such is just absolutely fantastic, and I just want to see more of it. So in all honesty, if Polyphony ever do end up watching this or ever want a bit of feedback on these special events, make them longer and start incorporating this into pretty much everything you can, because it's fantastic. The tracks feel full of personality. Again, it's taking advantage of literally everything this game has to offer. But overall, I would say for both of these events, we're seeing quite a bit of a difference, both in payout and the, I guess, overall length of them. Although we kind of had a bit of a mix last year with one sprint event at Willow Springs and a longer one at Spa, this time around, both of the events are fairly short and, can be done in, way under 10 minutes. So we took a gold medal here for first place with a time of 8 minutes 15. 23.991, giving us the reward for both first, third and fifth, and that's going to give us a total of 300,000 credits when it comes to completing this one. 16.3 miles in length, and we're going to get a nice little 6-star roulette ticket reward as well. So overall, what did I think of this event? I would actually say this is the better of both of the events that we have this year for this sort of World Series celebratory events. I just absolutely love the way it does sort of night to day and the whole 24-hour vibe we sort of have going here. Again, in terms of just the way it's presented is absolutely phenomenal, but again, I just think it's far too short in length, and a single lap really doesn't do this event justice. Like I said, if it comes to future special events, make them longer, take advantage of tyres and fuel, and also maybe even get the weather that can be completely randomised. I'd absolutely love to see that. But in terms of the overall atmosphere and the way it races, this is definitely the better of the two events that we have going on. Next up, we have the Spa event, and again, we're just going to check the weather radar just to see if there's any rain kind of moving in, and again, there isn't any. But this is where I made the mistake of actually not kind of realizing that the tyre and fuel was turned off, so I went for the mediums. But just a quick note here, just put the softs on. You don't need to worry about any tyre wear or anything like that. So this time we're on the 24-hour layout of Spa, and as you can see, we are obviously limited to the Red Bull X2019, which is for obviously the Nations Cup. So you'll have a bunch of liveries to pick from. Again, my country isn't featured, so I just went for Japan. Obviously with Polyphony Digital being the creators and such, just thought, you know what, we'll just go for that one. In terms of the event itself, it's rather straightforward. I did make it much more difficult for myself than I really should have done. Obviously the mediums, I've not got the pace that the softs would give me or the grip, so definitely shows there. Just in terms of the overall event, you don't have to worry about rain, anything like that. It's a fairly straightforward sprint, so just see it as a bit of a hyper sprint in terms of the payout you're going to get. 5 laps in these vehicles takes absolutely no time at all, so you should get this one done in around about 10 minutes or so, much quicker obviously than my overall time if you're going to be using the softs, which I do recommend. Now the main way to run these cars, I would say, is definitely just running the slipstream as much as you can and just use this to your advantage. There's no DRS or overtake button on these vehicles, so again, slipstream is definitely going to be your friend, considering you won't have an overall advantage. And because I made the event harder than it should have been, certainly the first front 2 AI that sort of ran away from the rest of the grid were a bit of a pain to track down, only overtaking them on the final lap, but expect to be overtaking them much quicker if you're running those soft tyres, and you should get this one done nice and easy. So we're going to round the final corner, accelerate out, and only just take the win. So again, like I mentioned, don't take the mediums. My overall time was a 9 minutes 23.939, and that's going to take us back over the 100 mil mark, and obviously give us a 21.5 mile daily race bonus. So in terms of the event, how was it? I would definitely say this is the weaker of the two. There's nothing really going on here. It's a fairly typical sprint race. It's fairly short once again, not really taking advantage of what we have at Spa. There's no day-night this time around to kind of complement the entire atmosphere. It just feels like a fairly standard event in the game, not really something worthy of celebrating the World Finals. So to give you my final thoughts, I certainly feel like this year's events are much weaker than what we had previous. Obviously, in terms of the Nations Cup, we had Willow Springs, which was the Escudo Pikes Peak, which was just absolutely bonkers and a really good sprint race last time. Obviously paid much better. And then for the manufacturers last year, we had the Spa event, which was much longer, took into account weather and such, and just felt much better overall and much, I guess, betterly padded out than what we saw with the Nordschleife this year. However, of the two events that we got this year, the Nordschleife is definitely the better of the bunch. The atmosphere is absolutely insane. It feels like the track's fully alive. So, you know, props to Polyphony there. They definitely need to show off more of those kind of alive tracks and just really expand upon these events much better next time. So there we go. That's my final thoughts. Thanks so much for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Take care, guys. Peace.